Let me go through all of these submissions I have already given to you to look at. And this is interesting. My main concern with most of these is, and the main import of this assignment, is that you chose the right kind of images to mean the right kind of things so that it's easy to understand. This one can mean what the designer wanted it to mean, that puppies can make you happy, but this can also be interpreted as the girl wants a puppy and now she got one, she's happy. So it's a little bit different, feeling here. I don't know what this up here represents, but her heart is broken. And if you're interacting with a puppy a little bit more, so that I know that that's why she's happy now. So you got good symbols going on here, but it's just a little disconnected. This is an excellent piece of artwork, great techniques. This could be easily an illustration for a magazine on the topic. However, it's a little bit difficult to know exactly what you're supposed to get out of this, and that is you're looking at a guy in front of a skyline, a city, and he's confused, or maybe he's mad, but I don't see anything causing this, so I don't really understand what his emotions are. It's just maybe he's crazy, and so I need the explanation to help understand what this means. If he were had some additional signs here to show an emotion that he's actually having. But the idea that is before his thoughts explode or his head's going to explode, there are some ways to illustrate that. Building a pressure cooker, something like that would convey what you're trying to say. So important about this assignment here is that you use signs that are very clear. This is an excellent piece of artwork, really got my attention. But right away, there are words involved, and that really negates this. Not completely, of course, but if you were to remove these words from this, because you're not allowed to use words in this assignment, it's just a nice piece of artwork. I'm not exactly sure what is being said here. There's nothing to compare it to. There's no storyline to follow it through. I don't see a cause and effect. It's hard to understand that you've got a symbol here for a heart and a symbol here for a brain, so the robot has both. I'm not sure what's trying to be said here, but excellent artwork, excellent impact. And this was interesting, a little disorganized. I don't know why it's disorganized over here and then it's disorganized over here. And this is pointing down, this is pointing to the right. The design is not symmetrical, it's not seemed to be organized. So I'm kind of wondering if that's part of it. It could mean that a computer takes something that's kind of rough in texture and make it more smooth. Okay, I'm not getting that we're dealing just with color here. Yes, I see the color, and yes, the color is different, but it's a little bit of stretch. I need some help to do that. Okay, the problem that I had with this one was what was so confusing. If you look really close, here's a little tiny Africa, and here's even a smaller South America, and I don't know what this is. These crowds are covering up. I guess they're different lands. Is this Canada? You got a lot of blue space here. A better design would be to put the image of the people offset from the actual geographic representation of where they're from, because you're covering up some critical detail. The other thing that's kind of confusing is this person here is kind of showing off her rump and she's singing. She's not even looking over here. And some of these other people are doing extra things. These guys are marching. If it's all eyes are on America, then they ought to all look like they're looking at something instead of just doing some activities. And so I didn't understand that you're trying to talk about there's a relationship between all these groups of people and what's in the middle. I had a difficult time associating that. As you can see here, this picture does, I'm sorry, this picture here does not look like their eyes are on America. And I'm wondering what this shape is and why I have words on here. I'm wondering why I have textures on here. It's interesting for the design of things, but it's additional information, visual information that is confusing. If everything has to have a meaning in here and direct my attention, you cannot afford any kind of distractions. And so these guys don't look like they're looking at America. So a little difficulty there with the idea being executed the way you wanted to. Very creative. This is the first time that I've actually seen where the artist uses their hand in the picture, because obviously you literally can change the composition just by moving your hand before you click. So, you know, that's a little different. But it was pretty clear here. You've got your razor wire, like barbed wire. You've got it wrapping around. Also, clearly it looks like something is, you know, tied into like an injection or, you know, an IV line or something like that. And it's very clear symbols that this person is really attached. And there's some blood sticking out here. And it's kind of like you're not just attached and you need it, but it's almost like you're enslaved. You're in prison or something like that. So it really comes across very nice. The graphics are right on. The signs can only be interpreted one way, and they all are assembled in a way with relationships that you can clearly get the idea here that, and it's not the exact words being used here, but you get the thought of what's being conveyed. Nice little cartoon. It's not really mixed media. And you got a comparison. That's really good. And so maybe this is considered mixed media. You got pencils and ink, but very, very minimal in that. And so the only thing that's different is the color, and he's kind of looking at it. So yeah, color's more interesting to look at. I'm old generation. I remember when TV was black and white, and only one or two shows would come on in color and then make a big deal about it. And then all the networks said, we're going to now broadcast completely in color. And how excited we were. And so I can kind of relate to that, you know, color can attract attention. So this is pretty simple, and using facial expressions and right on. Now, here you got the antennas are a little different here, and I'm wondering if you're saying something about that too, but I'm not trying to read too much into this, I don't think. Okay, I don't know what the 1 plus 2 equals 3 means, other than you add this adds together, if that's what you're trying to say here. And I'm not sure, do I need the pictures on the right? I got all these colors. I got a facial expression. He's thinking of something. And it's pretty clear that colors remind you of different things. They have some symbols to them, and it carries emotions and thoughts and memories. That's kind of thing what I'm looking at here. What is actually the message here? So we zoom in and read here at the bottom. This file is huge. You only need to scan something in at 72 dpi because I'm just going to look at it on the screen. Oh shoot, I can't now. I screen. See. Okay, here's a really big explanation on this thing, and it's taken forever to scroll this thing because it's so big. Color evokes emotions and creates powerful moods. Okay, so colors have emotions and memories and that kind of stuff. But again, I still am not sure that I need the pictures as well. Work kind of nice. It's very attractive, and the different angles that were shot here make it look a little more interesting. So the idea behind these different shot angles is so that you can see the artwork from different points of view, and actually you're creating different pieces of artwork with your photographs depending on the cropping and the angle that you're shooting it at. Did I cover everybody's stuff here? If I missed yours, I'm sorry. I think I'm just scrolling back through here, and I think I went through everyone's. So you're free to work on these, refine them. For the most part, everyone scored fairly well on the impact and the creativity, but when it got down to conveying the message, it was acceptable. But in many cases, I need to read what you were saying to get it, or I had to read down here what the message actually was. It didn't come across. The one that came across, I think, boom, right on. Okay, let's scroll through these real quick. I've already mentioned that. This one right here, boom. That was, I look at that like, whoa, man, this looks to me like somebody's enslaved or addicted, somehow tied to, in a negative way, social media. And I read, once you're on it, plugs into you like a parasite, and you can't escape. Boom, I got the idea. Anyway, I'm looking forward to any resubmissions on these if you need to.